Hey, good morning. It's coming up to Christmas, so I am extremely busy, but I'm just going to quickly make this video now just to end off the year. Even though I have other guitars to talk about, the one I want to talk about today is this one. And also, as an addendum to buying this guitar, which if you haven't been following like my channel, I've been buying guitars on Facebook Marketplace, stripping them apart, putting them back together and seeing if I can make something that I would consider an everyday user guitar out of something that someone just wants to get rid of or is basically going to throw away. As well as this guitar, I have another guitar that was actually found in an attic from like the 1960s, which I'll talk about on my next video. But as well as all of that, I've been actually trying to see the other side of Facebook Marketplace, which is selling items on there. And it's been rough. A while ago, we went over to our friend's house. We would see their little kids and just hang out with them and whatnot. And I have been browsing Marketplace, and I saw this. And I had never seen one of these before. And I was like, that's interesting. It looked beat up, and even with the photos that the guy had put on Marketplace, it looked filthy. And I'm like, okay. So I contacted him, tried to get a deal, got it down to 80 quid. We contact the guy. It turns out it's about an hour away from our friends. Our friends live in Cambridge, I live in East London. So it's already a long drive there, and it went there and then another hour out the way. So it wasn't exactly close, but relatively speaking, not bad. After interacting with this guy on my phone on the way there, I'm in the passenger seat chatting to him, saying, okay, we're here. You know, you get a certain vibe from a guy. I get there and I'm like, there's no way this isn't stolen. There's literally no way this isn't like, there's no way this is legit. But okay. So we went there, see the guy, hand over the cash, grab it and run. And the whole time we were doing this, my wife was like, why bother? I'm like, why bother? What is it about this guitar? Because it's dirty, it's beat up, and it's kind of ugly. Like, the way it was originally was kind of gross looking. And I'm like, because I can see potential. Like, it's not about what it is, it's about, in my head, what can I make it? Like, what can I turn this into? And into my head, I saw this. So, this is an Ibanez I've got it up on the screen here because I will never remember, because Ibanez don't name. In fact, Japan, as an entire country, don't really like naming things. They like giving things numbers and serials and whatnot. So this is an Ibanez RC220, which I guess stands for Road Core, but it's basically a budget touring model. I think they retailed in the UK for around about the 200-300 quid price tag. They only made them for a year. Like, these were made in 2017. That's it. And according to this, they were made in, where? Indonesia? So it's an Indonesian budget guitar, which essentially is supposed to be basically taken out on the road, and if it breaks, who cares, right? But it's actually, like, again, with Ibanez, their budget stuff is really good. Like, you get some budget brands and you're like, but Ibanez's budget stuff consistently, like we're talking from decades ago, is really good. Like I mean, obviously I'm biased because my Ibanez 520 is one of the greatest guitars. In fact, possibly the greatest guitar I've ever played. I love that thing. But this is, for what it's worth. And then don't forget, not only that's what it retailed for, I picked this up for £80. Like, it was dirty, it was gross, and it had none of the hardware that you see on it now. But the skeleton was there. Like, the foundations were there for me to build on. So let's have a quick look at what this thing actually is. For Ibanez, this is really weird, and this is what drew me to it originally. This is what got me to look at the listing. I don't associate Ibanez with asymmetrical tails. Like, Ibanez are always symmetrical on the bottom. But this isn't. This has got like a very slight asymmetry to it. Like, we're not talking like full on like Jaguar or Mustang, but it's not quite symmetrical. And I really like that. What a cool shape. Like, if I had to sort of give this thing a description, it's like almost a Telly headstock, but with like an Ernie Ball style body. It comes in, this is what's known as an amber. Hang on, let's have a look. Aged amber, comes in transparent cherry, and it will come in transparent mustard. Out of the three colours, this is the one I like the most, so this is good that this one turned up. Until I saw this thing, I didn't even know anything about it. I didn't even know these existed until I saw it on Facebook Marketplace. The problem was, it was clearly put together with maybe other parts that they had, or parts that they hadn't really thought about it, because it's got this really cool double binding, like cream double binding, that goes all the way around the body. But it had black pickup rings, black pickups, and a black adhesived on pickguard. Why? Why would you put cream binding and then a black stuck on with adhesive, like not even screwed on, stuck on pickguard and black pickup rings and black pickup? Like, why would you do that? It had the ugliest dials that you have ever seen. They were really, I think they're Ibanez exclusive or Ibanez budget exclusive. They were like these weird dome tops, and they were like smoked plastic, like a smoky black plastic, so not quite opaque, not quite transparent. Gross. And it had a black pickup selector. So again, all this black hardware, but with cream binding on a amber body. Like, I don't get it. Like, fair enough, you've got the dark, fretboard, but still, like, it's got the maple underneath. So anyway, as far as the specs go, this is 3 pieces of mahogany. Like, and you can clearly see 1, 2, 3. It's 3 pieces of mahogany. Solid mahogany. It weighs a fair bit. As far as the neck goes, single piece of maple, standard, like, budget Ibanez headstock on there. It's giving, like, Telly kind of vibes. I can see me making something really cool out of this fairly ugly guitar. So the first thing I did, the hardware had to go. And not only the hardware, the pickguard had to go. If you're going to have, and it is, for a budget guitar, a really nice piece of mahogany. Like, it's not the best in the world, and there are some factory defect along here. Like, it's still a really nice piece of wood with a super high gloss finish on it. Like, oh, you can see my Christmas tree. There you go. It's a super nice piece of wood, like nothing fantastic, but why would you put a black pickguard on there? So I got it home. The very first thing I did was obviously take out all the hardware. The second thing I did was to get my wife's hairdryer. I don't know why I would have to preface that. Obviously, it's my wife's hairdryer. But my wife's hairdryer, and take the end off so it's giving out just a straight blast of fairly hot heat. And then just run it along the pickguard. And then with a plectrum, something plastic, I was basically putting it underneath and trying to pull. Like, again, I didn't want to crack the finish because it is a high gloss finish on it. I didn't want to crack that, and I didn't want to melt it, and I didn't want to burn it. But at the same time, I've got to get the adhesive, like, gooey enough just so I can start pulling. But I can't pull too fast because it will just rip the gloss finish off. So it's a very slow process. Took about 15 minutes, right? Of just heating a little bit, take off the heat, pull it back a little bit, heat up a bit more, pull off the heat, pull it back a little bit, heat up a bit more, and so on and so forth. But eventually I did get it off. The sticky residue underneath, WD-40. Like, WD-40 is a really, really good degreasing agent. People use it as a lubricant. It's not. It's essentially just a degreaser. So you can use it to get to remove adhesive material. So I use it to get rid of stickers off of video game boxes, and anything sticky, just use WD-40. It comes out great. So a little bit of WD-40 got the adhesive off. The knobs I have replaced with clear speed knobs. Because again, I'm going for a theme. I want this to look like it made sense, because none of the black hardware made any sense with the chrome here and the cream binding. So I went for clear speed knobs purely because I've never had a chance to use clear speed knobs, and I wanted something that would like thematically work. Changed over the black pickup selector for a new one. This is the same hardware, but the bit on top, the plasticky bit on top, this one didn't fit. So I had to drill it out a little bit, and even though there's a thread inside that sort of screws on, I drilled it out just enough where the thread on the metal piece would just cut into the plastic. So that is, again, this cost about £1 off eBay. The pickup rings and the pickup. So the pickup rings I got on, again, eBay. They were a couple of quid, like nothing special. But the pickups went back to my old favorites. Warman's pickups. They are incredible. So these are the Destroyers. This is the same one that I put in the Les Paul. But I only put in the bridge in the Les Paul, whereas now I've got the bridge and the neck here. I love these. I am not sponsored by Warman pickups. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, but I will recommend these pickups to anybody. They are incredibly cheap. Like, I genuinely think they could sell these for 3 or 4 times the cost, if not more. And people would pay them. And even if I had to pay 3 or 4 times the cost for these, I'd go, yeah, they're still great. The fact that they're a quarter of the price that they could sell them for is a bonus. Their customer service is amazing. Their quality, second to none. The sound in these things is incredible. The bridge pickup here, I've got a Warman Destroyer, which is a super high gain pickup. Like really, 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 really high output pickup. This thing screams. Pinched harmonics, no problem. Like this thing, amazing. I don't play leads really. I barely play solos. Even though this is a Warman Destroyer, you think, oh my God, no, it sounds great. This sounds so warm and lovely. It's a really, really, really good clean pickup. I cannot recommend these highly enough. I've had, I think this is like 7 different Warman pickups now, and about 4 or 5 different types that they make. And I've not been disappointed. I genuinely have not been disappointed. None of them have, given out on me. None of them have been less than what I expected. They're great. They really are great. So obviously I had to put Warman pickups in there. But again, I wanted an excuse because I haven't got any guitars with cream binding. I was like, well, let's put the cream there. Let's put the cream there. And let's get a set of like Slash style zebra pickups. Like I know Slash didn't, I know Slash wasn't the first person to use them, but he's the guy that I like the most. Like I really, really, really like Slash, and let's get some zebra pickups. So I did. What I did then was I completely rewired it, and I always do the same thing when I've got a guitar with a single volume and a single tone. I take this tone and I make that the volume, because what I'll usually do is I'll set that to where I can get a really good sound out of my budget pedal board and my solid state amp. So I'll get a really nice clean tone out of it, and then clean. Or if I'm playing something with like a kill switch in it, I'll set that to mute, or I'll set that to 0, and then we've got that. So I can do like the Tom Morello stuff, or there's a couple of Deftones songs where you would do that as well. And that is far and away what this guitar should have looked like the moment it left the factory in Indonesia. Like this is, for my money, exactly what I had in my head when I saw that listed. For a guitar that was made for a year, like 1 year, and for about that 300 quid mark, I think you get a lot of guitar for that amount of money then. Like now, for 80 quid on Facebook Marketplace, this thing is a steal. I say this every time. Like I buy the SpongeBob guitar, I'm like, oh, this is my new favorite. Or I'll get the, the Les Paul. Oh, this is my new favorite. Don't tell the others. Like we won't tell the others, but this might be coming up to be my new favorite. This is like my daily driver. In fact, this is my daily driver. I can honestly say the only guitar that I've had for decades that's in standard tuning. Like, this is in E standard, which is something I haven't played for decades at this point. And I'm having a lot of fun, because when I was growing up, I was learning songs in E standard. All of those I've forgotten. And yeah, this is like a time capsule for me, because it's taking me back to when I was, I had that Strat, the Spider-Man Strat. And I was learning all these songs for the first time. And I'm going to say I had that Spider-Man Strat for about a year and a half before I discovered drop tuning. And once you discover drop tuning, like drop D and then like drop D flat, I never went back. So it's really nice to have a guitar where I can learn those songs that for that like year and a half I was learning all the way through. Is like really, really cool. Yeah, but if you were lucky enough to pick one of these up in 2017, you really got a deal. Like, you really did. I know I did, because I got it like cheaper years later. But even at full price, or even at retail price, this is such a steal. Ibanez did it again. Like, they really do. Their budget ranges are phenomenal. So anyway, let me just hook this up to the amp, and I'll give you a quick clean and a quick dirty tone and see what you think. Okay, so let's look at a few clean tones. Now, remembering that this pickup here is their Destroyer model. So this is supposed to be the metal as all hell, doing like pinched harmonics and squealy solos and all of that. But I like using it for clean, and listen to this. It just sounds so warm. And what's better is if you combine it with one of my other favourite things, which is the K-Line Wonderland pedal, you get just... Oh, it just sounds so good and so warm. It just, it just sounds so good. This is a budget guitar. It sounds so good. So yeah, you've got that really nice, and then on the bridge pickup, it's got that kind of like telly twang. Let's turn off the, there you go. So it's got that kind of like Strat telly twang to it. But yeah, that bridge pickup is, oh, it just sounds, it doesn't sound like a budget guitar. Okay, so let's whack some dirt through it. Again, this is just the Tantrum. No boost pedal, a little bit of EQ. I've scooped the mids very, very, very slightly. And the amp's on clean because it's knackered. It's a 20-year-old Marshall solid state practice amp, and it's busted, so I only really use the clean channel on it. So everything you're hearing is basically the guitar and the pedal. So that's again, bridge pickup, full bore. I've played better. But still, like, what a cool guitar. It sounds great. The other thing that this thing does really, really well is, again, the combination of the guitar and the pickup. You can get some insane metal tones out of it. Like, super insane metal tones. It sounds exactly the same. It's really good. It's really, really, really good. Yeah, like, adrenaline is pretty easy with this, because it's, again, the neck, even though the neck is like a high gloss neck, it's still pretty fast. Like, it's a really slick neck. I wouldn't recommend, if you buy one of these things, I wouldn't recommend sanding down the neck, because it's fine. It doesn't get sticky, it doesn't clam up. I get like quite sweaty hands, and even I'm moving around this thing like really, really easily. sounds exactly like the record. It's great. So yeah, I love this thing. I really, really, really do. Again, I like the shape. I like the color. I like how it looks now. And there is potential there. And it's a lesson that just because you look at something and you think, I'm not sure about that, I'm not sure about that bit, I'm not sure about that bit. You don't have to have it like that. Especially if you're buying budget guitars. Budget guitars, to a certain extent, are built to be modifying platforms. Like, they're built, like, Ibanez knows full well that you're going to take it home and start to tinker with it. Because that's why they build these things. It's not like a prestige, flame mapled, perfectly carved, perfectly ergonomic, art piece. This is a road guitar. It's supposed to be covered in stickers and held together with gaffer tape. You know what I mean? Like, if you take out a pickup and swap it over, that's kind of what it's designed to do. Again, I'm super happy with this, and I have another one to show which was found in a loft, and it's from the 1960s, or to the best of my knowledge, 1960s. So I'll talk about that one next. But what I quickly want to go over is the trials and tribulations of trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace. Okay, so I'm going to start out by saying I know a lot of people still use Facebook. I'm not one of those people. I basically only go onto Facebook to use Facebook Marketplace to buy guitars or to buy little bits and pieces. I don't really care about the type of people that still use Facebook. And again, there are different social media do tend to collect a certain type of person. Like, the way I see it is that Facebook was the first one out. So everyone jumped onto Facebook. And then as more social media platforms started to come out, people migrated to them. And they kind of find people, like, the thing with Facebook, because it was the first, anyone that first started up there, they've kind of just stayed there. And haven't moved on. And I find that Facebook itself, the social media platform, tends to skew a lot older and tends to skew a lot more, I'm not going to say right wing, but it tends to skew very conservative. So I'm now no longer part of Facebook. I haven't been for about a decade. And like I say, the only reason I go on there is to buy stuff from Facebook Marketplace. Next question, obviously, why use it? Well, you don't pay a middleman. Like, there is no middleman. Essentially, it's like Exchange of Mar or Loot used to be way back in the day, or like Craigslist or whatnot. The difference is that Facebook still has a lot of eyes on it, like a lot. And again, this is going into the benefits. There are a lot of users there, and those users tend to, skew a lot older, so there is a little bit more money there than something like Gumtree or, Facebook, Gumtree or Craigslist or anything like that. So you would assume that the success in selling stuff there would be greater, right? Stands to reason. Not so. I have sold about half a dozen things on Facebook Marketplace, and every single person I meet, it's always been a cash transaction. I will tell them where to meet, where to go, and I'll meet them there. They're not coming to my house. When you're dealing with people and not a company, like average people who have never been in either a retail environment, obviously people have been into shops before, so they know how the other side works, but people who have never had to sell anything or never had to do any one-to-one trading before of any kind ever, right? Whether it be a car boot or whatever. Some people have very unrealistic expectations of how trade works when you're dealing person to person. I am being so careful with what I say, because some people that you meet are genuinely the nicest people. If not, like, and I'm not talking about like English as a second language. Like, as soon as you read some of these things, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. They're having to, translate this in real time. That's fine. Like, that's no problem. Like, language barriers aside, they're, they know what they want, and they're, friendly and amicable about it. Like, a language barrier doesn't stop someone being friendly. But there are other times when people are just the worst. And I could, again, go the eBay route and do like the middleman thing, but then they get a cut. And if this thing I'm selling is like super small, fine. One of the things I'm selling, like I'm selling guitars on there right now. I have an acoustic guitar from 2004. I have a bass on there, a really, really, really nice bass that I'm selling on there as well. And a couple of other bits and pieces like pickups and whatnot. But I don't want to give eBay money. Basically, I want all the money. So I was like, oh, I'll do it peer to peer. So yeah, Facebook Marketplace tends to collect a certain demographic of person that may have unrealistic expectations of. Let me break this down. So we'll have an example. An example would be the red acoustic that I was selling, and I get contacted because again, this is all done via the messenger service that's in Facebook. So I get a message, and it says on the listing that it needs new strings. I'm like, yeah, it needs a new set of strings. They're old. If I used it that much, I wouldn't sell it. Like, it stands to reason. If someone's selling a guitar, chances are it needs new strings because they don't use it. If they used it that often, they wouldn't sell it. So she was like, would you be willing to take off £15 because I need to buy new strings for it? And I'm like, two things. Firstly, where are you buying guitar strings that cost 15 quid? Acoustic guitar strings that cost 15 quid. Where are you buying those? Secondly, I'll do you a deal, save you some time. I'll buy new strings for it and put new strings on it, but I'm going to increase the price by £15. Save you a bit of time. Do you a solid. Didn't hear back from her. And it's like that throughout. So there are a lot of people, and one of the most common things I get is when someone has agreed to something, right? So excluding scams, and I'll get to those in a minute because, boy. But yeah, so one of the most common things of genuine people I get is people will agree on a price, agree on a time to meet, and I'll say something like, just text me when you're close and I'll come down there and meet you. All right. I'm selling also a 4-track digital recorder, really, really nice 4-track digital recorder, a drum sequencer, everything. Got loads of like people interested and whatnot. Speak to them, seem amicable, don't seem like a bot. Like, agree a price. Where do you live? I'll give them my rough postcode. Tell them I'll meet them at a station or like a road that's near me. And then ghost, like completely ghosted. Never heard from again. I'm like, there was one guy who I was like, we arranged everything. We agreed a price. I even knocked some money off. And I was like, fine, I'll give you a discount. You got to come and get it today. He was like, cool, love it. Are you on your way? Yep, I'm on my way. Cool. Never heard from him again. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm discounting these people. I'm offering to meet these people. I'm even offering to post some of this stuff. Never heard from again. Like, it's so weird. What's in it for them? Like, what is in it for you? Is this like a sport? Am I like the ball? I don't get it. Like, what's in it for you? And this is not just one time. This has happened multiple times where we have agreed prices and where to meet and dates to meet. Are you on your way? Yep. Cool. Just text me when you get there. Never heard from again. I text them back. Completely ghosted or blocked. I don't get it. Like, what do you want me to do? Anyway, the third and final problem with selling on Facebook Marketplace is the marketplace itself. So browsing the marketplace is a nightmare because there is basically no limit to the kind of junk that you get on there. A lot of the stuff on there are obvious scams. Like, there are obvious scams on there. Scammers are rampant on Facebook Marketplace, where you look at the thumbnail and go, there is no way that that is that price. And that is not a real photo, because you can just Google search. Like, you can just right click, Google image search, and oh, look, there it is from, you know, the Amazon page or whatnot. So there's a lot of that. Scammers also don't stop at selling stuff. Scammers are also super interested in buying your stuff as well. I have to wonder if the traffic on Facebook Marketplace, if you split it down the middle with bots on one side, or scammers and bots on one side, and genuine purchasers and sellers on the other side, whether that line is 50-50. I don't think it is. I think now scammers and bots take up the majority of that share, with actual genuine people buying and selling being the minority. It's rampant. Like, again, all this is done through Messenger, right? This is not email or anything else. All of this is done through its internal messaging service. And my messaging thing is all scammers and scam bots. One of their favorites is this still available? Yes. We agree on a price. And it's like, I'm going to send a courier because I'm at work, and the courier will give you cash. No, it's a scam. Don't do it.
Hey, editing me here. Yes, I edit on my PlayStation. Always have. My entire YouTube channel's been made on a PlayStation. Just to let you know that there are so many scams on Facebook Marketplace, but they're not necessarily limited to users on Facebook Marketplace. I've actually had at least 2 listings where Facebook, you need to renew the listings every so often. I think it's just so they put it back on the homepage so it doesn't get cluttered up. So things naturally leave the site over time rather than over, lack of interest. But to renew a listing, all you literally need to do is click renew, and it goes, yep, fair enough, we've renewed it for another 7 days or 2 weeks or whatever. But I haven't figured out why, but 2 of the listings they've flagged internally for some reason, and if I want to list them, I have to give Facebook my phone number. So, cat's hungry. So no, they haven't been relisted because I'm not about to give Zuckerberg and his mates my phone number. Like, sorry, that's not happening. So if you wanted to buy an expression pedal for a Zoom multi-effects, sorry, you're out of luck, because Zuckerberg ain't having my deets. You know what I'm saying?
So it's not been great. Like, it really hasn't been a fun experience. And don't get me wrong, the sales that have gone through, even some of the sales that haven't gone through, like a woman contacted me on there about the bass. She said she wanted to buy it for her daughter, and I'm like, oh, scam alert, scam alert. And I chatted to this woman, and we agreed a price, and then a couple of days before, she texted me and said that, oh, she had found another deal somewhere else, and I was like, fine, great, hope it goes on. And then she sent me another message afterwards, after we had ceased all communication regarding that sale, about how, oh, she's so sorry, and that's fine. Like, don't worry about it. But I like genuine human contact, you know what I mean? Not like some soulless bot that's been trying to scam me, you know what I mean? So it swings and roundabouts. Like, it works both ways. But overly, the experience has been negative, and I would recommend practicing a lot of caution if you are going to buy and especially sell on Facebook Marketplace. Be a person that is very well informed of who you're dealing with before doing anything. Like, anything. The amount of just and these scammers aren't good. These scammers are the worst, because they're looking for easy targets, and easy targets are the elderly and the uninformed. That's who they're targeting. If you can be well informed, regardless of your age, if you can be well informed, these guys are easy to see, easy to spot, and easy to deal with. You just have to be well informed. It doesn't take long to learn about how scams work. It doesn't take long to figure out or to educate yourself on how scammers work and how they operate and how to avoid them. It's literally, you'd spend an hour looking it up, and all of a sudden you've got way more knowledge going into this than you really need. So yeah, that would be my advice, is to be confident and just to try, and if you feel like something is too good to be true, or you start getting that weird vibe, pull out immediately. Like, nothing is worth, no guitar, no pedal, no nothing, no car, no air fryer, no nothing is worth getting scammed over. If you start getting a bad vibe, instantly pull out, forget about it, block them, move on. Like, don't follow what you think is going to be a loss. If you start thinking that, you're going to end up into a bad cycle. Instantly pull out, and then don't worry about it. Forget it. Put it out your mind. Move on to the next thing. That would be my best bit of advice. So yeah, that's it probably for the year now. I'm done making videos. I only have like a short time to make these because my wife's currently at work and I'm going to be meeting her anytime soon. So yeah, that's probably it for the year now. But when I come back, I am going to discuss that other guitar that was in a loft and is one of the... I actually had to research what it was. Like, I didn't know what this guitar was. And I ended up researching catalogues, UK catalogues from the 1960s. That's how deep a dive it went, because that's where it ended up. Also, I am moving into my stupid little projects again. So here's a pedal that I am currently working on. It has more holes. Yeah, it has more holes than a block of Edam. So, and obviously it's in my coat of arms, my family's coat of arms, blood splatter. So yeah, I'm currently working on this silly little project. This is not, even though this is a guitar pedal, it's not what you think. Whatever you have in your head of what this thing is, it's not that. You got to remember who's making it, yeah? This is going to be the dumbest thing ever. I make projects that make me laugh. This made me giggle, so I built it. So yeah, I'm currently in the sort of like prototyping stage. So hopefully when I come back, we'll have a little bit more to show on that. Maybe it'll be finished. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's currently what I'm working on at the minute. All right, cool. So yeah, have a good Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll catch you later. Peace.